Hey everybody, this is Tazlon for Drop Top Tees, and just as promised in my 50,000 mile review, we're at 75,000 miles. I'm still smiling about my 124 Spider Itsy Bitsy. So far, 75,000 miles, even with time on tracks, Tail of the Dragon, Twisted Sisters 3 times, over 40 modifications, about 20 of them are performance modifications. This car has been a dream to own, routine maintenance, and really the only problem I've had with it, and this just came up and it's going to be easy to fix. Sometimes when I press the button at the end, at the back, it doesn't open the trunk. That time it did. Sometimes I have to use my fob. That's the only issue I've had in 75,000 miles. Now, Fiat just announced that letters are going out November 7th, that there is a recall, I think, for the passenger side airbag. When it deploys, may come out with excessive force. It's a software control update only, so it's not going to require parts. It's just a software issue, and as I said, that's going to affect almost all our Spiders beginning November 7th. But in 5.5 years of ownership, having one recall that's software related, that's a pretty darn good record when you look at recalls from all other cars. This car has had less recalls, fewer recalls than its stablemate, the MX-5 ND. So in terms of reliability, if you're looking at one of these to pick up as a used car, extremely reliable even when you abuse it. That said, there is going to be one issue coming up in the future, and that is parts. The Fiat dealership network isn't strong in the United States. It doesn't seem to be getting any stronger. So if you need something, like I had to replace this piece right here, I could go to the Mazda dealer and buy it. I had it the next day. If I needed to replace my rear bumper, like I had to do earlier this year, I had to wait 6 months to get one imported to the United States. When they came, they brought, I think they imported 39 of them at once. So if you needed one right after they imported some, you were lucky. If you had to wait for the next batch to come, you're going to have to wait several months to get body panels. All the interior mechanicals should be fairly easy to get yet. They're still in stock. And I recently at Italian Car Fest talked to a vintage Fiat supplier, VIX, and asked when they were going to start carrying parts for our cars, because there's not that many of them out there. And he just laughed at me and said, once the major auto part retailers stop stocking them, we will start stocking them. But right now you can get almost any kind of little part you need just by going to Napa or All Pro or something like that. We don't have a market for it yet. So the vintage Fiat dealers are they're looking at starting to do parts once they drop off the national car parts scene, which right now isn't a problem. So long term, unless you need a body panel, getting parts isn't a problem. Body panel, then you're going to have potentially a 6 to 8 month wait in order to get the part you need. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with the car, I know a lot of the people watching this video are already fans of the car, but this is really designed for people who are thinking about buying one used. Just to review its capabilities, do not buy it if you want to go out and race Mustangs and Camaros and Challengers and Chargers off the red light to the next red light. It's not that kind of car. Do buy it if you just want to smile while you drive, no matter where you drive. If you have mountain roads, twisty roads, canyon runs, tracks that you want to go to, this is an awesome car. If you want to autocross, Auto X, awesome car. If you just like the thrill of driving while you're tooling around town, awesome car. Do not buy the car if you are an introvert and hate talking to strangers. I mean, flat out, don't buy it. You're going to hate it. At least once a week, and this is a minimum, usually more. Yesterday, twice, in about 5 minutes. Perfect strangers will come up to you in a parking lot, ask you what the car is, want to talk to you about it, tell you it's a great car, it looks cool. They think it's an Alfa Romeo, they think it's a Ferrari, they think for some reason it's a new Viper. They never guess Fiat. They never even come close to the price. They'll guess between $60,000 and $80,000 the most. The highest guess we ever had was $500,000. To be fair, we were at an Italian car show and right next to us was a row of Ferraris, so that probably kind of biased the guy's guess on the price. But it really, they look awesome, and they get looks all the time. You can be driving down the interstate at 75 miles an hour, which is legal in Texas, and you'll see a car go by you, slow down, let you go by you again, looking at you the whole way, and then they pull up beside you, roll down the window. What kind of car is that? While you're driving down the interstate. It's like it attracts attention all the time. So if you're an introvert and don't like talking to strangers, don't buy it. You're not going to like it, because people will try to talk to you. Red lights, highway, doesn't matter where, they'll ask you about the car. Now, there are a couple other issues that have already been fixed under warranty, hopefully. For some people, when they put up the top, it would rub right here. It was a fixable under warranty issue, and hopefully they've already been repaired. For some people, the seat belts don't retract real well. Mine kind of do that. I don't really care because it doesn't bother me. When I go to a car show and want to show it, I just feed them back in so it looks real nice. What else can I tell you about it? 2020. I can't remember who it was. J.D. Power, Kelley Blue Book, one of those type rating people, book or magazines, rated this car the most affordable roadster to own and operate over the next 5 years, based on its reliability, fuel consumption, maintenance costs, everything like that. It was rated the most affordable roadster to buy in America for the period of 2020 to 2025. So some of the major car magazines love the car. In terms of MX-5 ND versus 124, which one is better? I'm biased. You know that going in. I'm biased about this car, but I have the proof to back it up. This will beat the MX-5 by a little bit. You're not going to gap it. You're going to beat it by a little bit. And the reason is it has better control. It leans less in turns. Where the MX-5 like really leans over and gives you even more of a thrill going around turns, that also slightly limits its turning capability. The 124 Spider is a little bit more controlled, a little bit more smooth drive, and that allows it to go around the track faster. Now, this has been tested over and over and over by professional drivers in Japan and America, where they do head-to-head races, then they flip cars, the drivers flip cars and they race the other one. The 124 Spider has always barely beaten the MX-5 ND. In my opinion, it looks a lot better. I'm fond of saying that after 3 failed attempts, the Japanese finally turned to the Italians to make their roadster look right. And they nailed it. Like I said, most people guess its value at 3 to 4 times what it really is. So other people besides biased owners feel this car looks really good. It doesn't matter if you're in a parking lot, on the track, at a car show with more expensive cars, in a rich neighborhood, you fit in. You fit in with lower value cars, you fit in with higher value cars. It's just a great car to have and drive. I'm just going to give you a look all the way around. For anybody guessing we're at Lake Tawakoni in Texas, there's somebody out there jet skiing. Man, I would love to be out in a jet ski right now. Jet skis are awesome. Look how smooth it is. You could just haul butt on that jet ski. That'd be great. I have some work on it, like the spoiler, the side skirts, the front lip. I've added those. Your car won't have those. I probably have a couple bug splatters. We drove about half an hour to get here. But it doesn't matter what angle you look at this car from. It looks nice. And again, briefly, because I don't think I mentioned this in the 50,000 mile review, this car was actually originally supposed to be an Alfa Romeo, but they switched early in the design process. It was a collaboration with Mazda, and made it a Fiat, and they decided to make it a 50-year celebration of the original Fiat 124 Spider, which they sold from 66 to 85. And so the sculpting on the hood, homage to the vintage 124. The way the lights come down into a V towards the center, and the front grille, the shape of the front grille, both homages. The fish just jumped over there. Both homages to the original 124. The sculpting on the side, the line that comes down over the door handle and runs forward, is based on the original 124. And finally, from the rear, the way above the taillights it slopes down a little bit towards the trunk, that is also an homage to the original 124. So even though it was a brand new car in 2017, or introduced and sold in 2017, this car tries to remember its heritage and honor that heritage. 70% of the vehicle is Mazda parts. The inside cabin, a lot of the other stuff is Mazda. 5% is Mopar. Like if you look right here, all the stock glass on the car is Mopar. My hood liner, I even have it in tricolor. The hood liner's Mopar. Now this engine's had some work done. Your original stock engine won't look like this. But and then the rest of it, 25% is Italian. The motor, the suspension setup, the exterior sculpting is all Italian produced and Italian designed. And then it was assembled in Hiroshima on the Mazda assembly line for the MX-5. So it is a Japanese built car, so you get the Japanese reliability. And as I said, this has actually turned out to be a little bit more reliable than the MX-5, with Italian styling and Italian tuned performance. The original motor on the Classica, Urbana, and Lusso in the United States is 164 horsepower with 184 foot-pounds of torque. The Abarth version, which is sold as the top level trim model in the United States because Americans don't understand what the name Abarth means. In Europe, it's its own separate studio. Is in America 164 horsepower, 184 foot-pounds of torque. With my modifications, they're way above that. The only real difference in the horsepower figure is that the Abarth version does not have a resonator on the mid pipe, and so that deletion boosted their horsepower by 4. Like I said, it's not going to outrun a Mustang or anything unless you do major modifications. But on twisty roads, it will blow away all but the very top end track oriented Mustangs and like the ZL1 Camaros, the new ones. When it first came out, the Abarth was rated by fastestlaps.com on a skid track. It had it was, I believe, the number 11 production car in the world in terms of grip on the highway. And so it was tied with cars like a lot of the Porsche 911 versions. I'm trying to think. Some Lamborghinis, some McLarens. It had the same grip on the road as some exotic sports cars that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. 50-50 weight distribution, beautiful looks, excellent handling. It's very forgiving. Even on the factory tires, you can go out and just run it hard on twisty roads. You modify it, you just make it even more capable. And there you go. I'm trying to keep this shorter than my other ones, but if you're looking for a fun to drive, affordable 2-seat convertible, you can't go wrong with this car. You know, run a Carfax on it. There's still plenty of them out there, which I don't understand. You can still find them for 10 to 30,000 miles on them, and at a decent price. Don't be afraid of buying those cars. It wasn't that there was something the matter with them and people didn't drive them. A lot of people, especially up north, didn't drive them in the winter. They only drove them on the weekends because they didn't want to tear them up. Ours is a daily driver. And like I said, after almost 6 years of hard use, it's a solid car. You're You're gonna love buying it. Highly recommend you go out and get one. You will not be disappointed. Now, one final thing. If you're 6'3" or higher, definitely test drive it with the top up to see if you fit. 6'3" seems to be the cutoff. If you're going on long trips, it may be uncomfortable at 6'3", but if you're smaller than that, it should fit. In terms of, I should say this before I go, in terms of being able to take it on long trips, the trunk doesn't seem to be that big. We've gone twice, 2 different times. We've gone on 9-day trips in our car. Was able to put enough luggage in the trunk that we didn't have to do laundry along the way. We had new clothes every day, sometimes twice. Went swimming and stuff like that, and had room to add other things in there. And we had no trouble doing 9-day trips. So it's more than a weekend car if you pack. If you pack, I guess what? If you pack well, think about what you need, and don't take any extra stuff you don't need with you. Leave out the superfluous stuff, and you can go on extended trips with this car and have a blast the whole way. Within the next 2 summers, we're hoping to take it from Texas down to Key West, and that's going to be another like 9-day trip, and that'll give us 3. And you know what? We're going to love it. We're going to keep smiling. And saying that, I'll see you in 25,000 more miles at 100,000 miles. I'm going to say the same thing. I'm still going to be smiling because I'm still going to love this car. That's how confident I am in it. Go buy one. So if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Hit subscribe. Tesla for Broad Top Tees. See you next time.